Welcome to the Wednesday Call Live. Now, let's hear our special guest host, Clay Mertes.
All right, welcome. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing the Brandon Manley. Brandon, how you doing, brother?
Doing good, man. How you doing?
Good, man. Thank you for being on today. If you don't know Brandon Manley, he's a senior board member 2 with the Alliance. That means he went 2 levels up here, a senior board member. So, hey, thanks for coming to the Alliance corporate headquarters today, hang out with me, and so that way we can kind of pick your brain a little bit.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. Looking to diving in.
Yeah, well, catch me up, man. What's been happening in your world, in your business?
Lots, man. We have lots of new width coming on. I saw what Alex Abian was doing with width, and I had that FOMO, I guess you call it. Mm-hmm. And so we started working our tails off on building width and just trying to keep that mindset of, hey, it's always rebuilding season. You're always rebuilding. So we've been doing a lot of that, as well as we got some agents coming on with some force. Like they're looking to build a business out of this, and they're selling, they're recruiting, and they're building. So I'm excited about the next. Really till the end of the year. I'm excited about that, but even looking forward to 2024 and seeing how it goes.
Yeah, you've been on the road a little bit too.
Yeah, we go to we've been in the last 2 weeks I was gone 10 days out of the 14. So, yeah, man, gotta travel around, serve, go teach people how to do what we do, or else. We ain't growing no longer. So
it gets to the point where you know a hotel bed better than you do your own bed.
Yeah,
and that's how you know you're working.
That's true. Yeah, it is like that. So.
I feel that same way in the last month. I was just kind of like, it's weird to be home. Like I don't have to go set that hotel AC to -6 degrees and get my mind right.
It almost makes you appreciate it, though, Yeah. You go back to that bed, ain't nothing like sleeping in your own bed.
Yeah,
so
that's comfort, man.
Yeah,
we got to get back on the road and start sleeping in cars again, kind of like it did back in the day.
Let's punish ourselves. Yeah.
Good deal, man. Well, I know we chose you first of all because, like you mentioned, your business is exploding, and I wanted to pick your brain about specifically with and putting new people into your business. And for those of you listening in, the key points I'm trying to hit on, Brandon, are his schedule and his system when it comes to recruiting with, his script. So we're going to dive into a little bit of what Brandon says to recruit people, and also what his investment is, how he manages his business, where does he put money, when does he put money, why does he put money into those places. So Brandon, help me, and this is kind of just a general question, help me understand your recruiting schedule, because I know that's mainly how you make your income is from hiring and training new agents. So give me a high level of what Brandon Manley's weekly schedule looks like.
Yeah, so Monday we come in, sit down with, we have a meeting every day at 8:30 with my staff, and we talk about what we're going to focus on. Most of that's around what we have coming up as far as events go, hotspots, and where we're going to focus our energy at that day, and then we just attack it with ZipRecruiter. We do PC leads, the follow-up, right? Follow-up's a huge part, which I'm sure we'll get to. But Monday, it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I got my staff there.
Yeah.
So it's really diving into that. And then throughout the day, on a Monday, I have our team call. So we do a team call every Monday at 2 p.m. So I've got to allot some time for that. So usually about 1 to 2, or maybe 12 to 2, I'm kind of planning that out throughout my lunch break. And then, but the rest of the day is a lot more on the follow-up side and reaching out to new people, whether they had just applied to a ZipRecruiter ad, or we have an event in Atlanta coming up and I've got 70 responders to get to. So me and the team will break those up and we'll start calling through those. Yeah, Tuesday looks very similar, right? So kind of the way that we've broken it up is on Monday we have our PC recruiting, and we do about 4 or 5 hours PC recruiting. So back to back to back. On Tuesday, on that afternoon, we're doing a lot of follow-up, right? On Tuesdays, it's a little bit more open. So we do our ZipRecruiter that day. So we'll call through, and we get a little bit more flexibility when it comes to follow-up, but we try to spend 4 hours calling through resumes, or either setting up calls on our schedule, which I can talk about. Wednesday looks the same as Monday, right? So we're back on the PC calls. Thursday, back to Tuesday, we're doing ZipRecruiter and follow-ups, and then on Friday, we're back on the PCs and ZipRecruiter. We're doing a half and half that day.
Got it. How, and this is a 2-part question, how do you know if you had a productive day, and how do you know if your staff had a productive day? How do you measure that?
Yeah, good question. So at the end of every day, we actually meet back up and we talk about who we're excited about that we talked to that day. So if we don't have anyone, I know it wasn't a very productive day, right?
Yeah.
If we didn't accomplish, if we didn't have a win that day, right? And that could be us getting an agent out there and them selling their first policy. But if we don't have anyone to talk about, then I know, what happened to today? Did we just have a bad batch? Or usually, I mean, most days we have a couple people to talk about, and we really use that time. We'd spend from 5 to 5:30 to discuss the people that we talked to and discuss the people that we followed up with. See the ones that we're following up with that are doing things and progressing along to get out there and sell, as well as the people that we talked to that day that we're excited about. So I really kind of gauge it based off of that. See, what did we do today? That's kind of the point of the 5 o'clock, is to see what we've done, and we all try to come to that, right? Because I try to create with my staff is like a winner circle.
Yeah.
So how can we win the day, right? And so that would be us all kind of bringing somebody to the table that we're excited to talk to everybody about.
That makes sense. And it's almost like that's your sifting and sorting time. It's kind of like we did all the activity. All right, let's find the nuggets that we found throughout the day. And then I imagine the nuggets that kind of like dictates your next action, your next flow, and that may dictate who you're talking to.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. Yeah. And I think for like my staff, it's a great chance to do some coaching. Right? Because they come to me and they're saying, hey, I talked to this guy, really, really liked him. Here's what he was looking for. And it's a great opportunity for me to ask them questions that they might not have asked the person, or questions that they asked them and how'd they respond to those. So it's really a great coaching opportunity as well.
Yeah. Or they get somebody and they go, this guy's really, really, really sharp.
Yep.
And then you get on the phone with them. I know I've done that to Andy 100 times. I'll be like, Andy, I love this guy. And he'll call him and he'll be like, huh. All right, Bo.
Yeah.
So it's a good opportunity for you to be like, here's what sharp is, here's what not sharp.
That's exactly right. Yeah, I mean, it is. It's funny, especially, and you can't have, it's an unrealistic expectation for your staff to come in and know what you think is sharp. But through talking with Andy, you've got a pretty daggone good idea of what he thinks is sharp. So that's what I'm trying to do. And like both my staff people, they have a pretty good idea of who I'm going to think sharp by this point. But it does come from that coaching of like, hey, this is why I did or did not like that person. And they kind of take that and run with it on the next person. They might not be as excited about them, right? Because everybody, when they get in here, they found somebody that said yes, and they are pumped, But it's just human nature, right? They're excited. Yeah. I'm excited for them, but we got to coach at the same time.
Yeah, you can't marry the first girl that says yes.
No, not at all.
I mean, I guess you can, but yeah. I guess let's go along that same theme. Like, what are some of the things that like you measure as somebody that is sharp?
Yeah. So what I'm trying to follow is really somebody who's had some success in their life, who's maybe had a job and stuck with it for a little while. Okay. That's kind of a big thing to me too. I just like, one of the questions that I'll ask them is where have they had success in their life? What's the most successful moment of their life, or what's the most successful phase of their life? And I want to hear about that, because a lot of times, like, I want to hear that they fell down and how they got back up. Because if they've been successful, they most likely fell down and got back up. So kind of testing out mental toughness there. I'm also for somebody who doesn't have a lot holding them back, right? So for example, if I'm talking with somebody that's got 2 or 3 jobs already, like, okay, where are we going to fit this in? That's kind of my question to them. It's like, where are we going to fit this in? I know you're excited about it,
right,
but how's this going to work? Or if they just life, like, you talk to them, and when I'm talking with them, they just have excuse after excuse to why things didn't work, right? Like, you kind of know you're their next victim for an excuse of why it didn't work. You know what I mean? So I'd say, like, the ideal type of person I'm looking for is, and this is going to sound odd, but if I'm talking about the actual, like, background, it's either somebody, out of college, really hungry, maybe they stopped college, it doesn't matter to me, that's really hungry, and they want the best for themselves in the future, and they'll do what it takes, right? And you hear that all the time, and then you got to actually see if they will do what it takes. I also really like the people who are in the phase of their life that I was in when I found this business. Somebody who's been in corporate America. Somebody who's been in there for maybe 3, 4, 5 years, and they're just not to the level that they want to be, right? Or you find somebody who's been in corporate America just getting their teeth kicked in for the last 15 years, but did a good job. Maybe they have a good, like Jeff Schultz would be like when I talk about this. Jeff Schultz had a successful background. He's making 120, 130 grand when he found us, but he was not happy with what he was doing, even though he was successful at it. So for him, it was kind of like he was at that breaking point. He was just like, I will do whatever it takes. And you see it with his activity. He would do whatever it takes. So, I'm kind of looking for some sort of, I guess if you want me to put it in characteristics, like some sort of loyalty, right? Whether that's a wife, husband, whether that's to a job. I'm looking for somebody that doesn't have much holding them back. And I'm looking for that person, like I always tell people this, is like, look, here's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for sharp, hungry, ambitious people. And I'm looking for people who will do what it takes to win, because I have a winning mentality. So if you're on board with that, I think this would be a good fit.
Yeah. To me, it sounds like you're describing a lot of characteristics of things people have done and achieved, as opposed to how fired up they are and how excited they are. Because excitement, it don't pay the bills.
And it fades. I mean, you've had it. You talk to somebody and they're so excited. Then you call them back 2 days later and you weren't in their ear, and all of a sudden the flame's just going. It's like imagine, if they go out there and they have their first no-show. Oh my God. It's like their flame's just going to burn out. So yeah, you're 100% right.
Tell me, what are some of, we talked about your green flags. What are some of your red flags where you're going, oh hell, I'm not going to spend a lot of time with this person? You're going to hire them, obviously, but maybe they're lower on the stack because these are things or trends you've noticed are not as successful.
Yeah, I think certain things stand out, especially when they're communicating with you. And you know this better than most, right? It's like when you're communicating with them and they're asking you questions like, well, how many hours am I going to actually have to put towards this? Just like indicators of things you're hearing, or you'll ask them like, what are they doing now? And what do they want to do? And they just say like the complete opposite. And you're like, did my recruiter tell you what this is? Did they talk to you about it? But more so than that, it's more of, okay, what are they chasing in life, right? So if they're telling me why everything hasn't worked for them, right? If they're telling me, like, let's say they were with another insurance company. Mm-hmm. Let's say they were with 2 other insurance companies, and you start prying there. Hey, so you were with XYZ company. Why didn't it work out over there? What happened? Well, the lead sucked, and I didn't get any support, and it just was a bad experience. Okay, so then you went over to this company, and how'd it go there? Well, yeah, their lead sucked too. And you're starting to get into this trend. It goes back to, I'm going to be their next victim, because what I can tell you is, like, a lot of our top producers, look at them, like they've had great mentorship, but a lot of times they figure it out, right? They take the extra mile. They want to figure it out. And they'll put in the activity until they do figure it out.
Right.
So when you talk to somebody like that who goes from job to job to job, and it doesn't have to be just insurance related, but they always want to focus on the negative parts of that job, not what they learned about it. Just tell you how bad it was, how bad my boss was. And for me, I can't get on board with that. It's for me. I just know that mentality is not going to lead to success here. So most likely, I'm wasting my time with that person.
I see. So you identify some of those red flags, you see them. We give everybody a shot, because you never know, right? They might be having a bad day. How do you sift and sort your gold nuggets? And I guess what's the action step of somebody you're super fired up for versus somebody that you're just spent 30 minutes and they're complaining on the phone? How do you differentiate, and what's the action steps, the differentiation between those?
Yeah, so what gets me excited about someone is like when they start doing the steps that you give them, right? So let's say that I called you today and you're fired up about the opportunity, right? You've been complaining, but this sounds like the next good thing to you, mm-hmm. right? And I say, all right, cool. Hey, I need you to do this, this, and this tonight. And then I'm going to set a BAM fam. My BAM fam, I'm like, we're BAM fam fanatics. Book a meeting from a meeting.
Fanatic.
BAM fanatic. Yeah, so we BAM fam. And usually it's the next day, unless they have something that's going on. So we BAM fam for the next day. Well, a lot of times I can tell if they've done what I've asked them to do before I get on the call. For example, have they fast tracked? Did they get into? Did they do carrier contracting? Or I get emails about that, right? So I can tell if they've done that. So if I call them and I see that they haven't done it, I play dumb. I'm like, hey man, did you get around to that email I sent you yesterday? Were you able to finish that up last night?
Well,
Yeah. And so my next question to you, and let me go back for a minute, because when I give you these actionable items, I'm telling you, I'm saying, hey, Clay, this doesn't take long. Can you go ahead and knock this out tomorrow before our call, or tonight before our call tomorrow? Yeah. So I'm getting you to agree with that, right? So when I call you and you haven't met that one small expectation I've set for you, now I know that you're likely going to make an excuse, but I'm going to ask you. I'm going to say, okay, hey, man, what happened last night? It just takes a couple minutes. Were you just not able to get around to it? What came up? Let's say you say something like, well, I just got busy last night. I went out with some friends and watched the football game, and, but I can knock it out today. Okay, I'm going to give them a second shot. All right, can you go ahead and, here's what I'll do. I actually have an opening, let's see, about 4:15 this afternoon. I can call you back and just check, and I can give you the next steps to move on. Can you have this done by 4:15? Right? And so the more items I give you that you don't do, the further you drop down on my list. Yeah. Because here's the way I think about it. Let's say I hire 10 of you, right? Let's say I hire 10 people, and I hire 2 Clay Merteses, which are sharp, will get it done, what I'm asking them to do. And I hire 8 other people that won't do these things. Yes, I still give them a shot. But these 2, I don't want these other 8 to take away the time from the 2, right? I want to spend most of my time with the people who are serious about the business. And that shows you, it's just a great indicator for if they're serious or not. Yeah. Like, everything sounds gravy until it comes time to put in the work. And so they'll quickly fall to the bottom. Now, the ones that are doing it, let's say I'm not even overly excited about them on the first call. Maybe I had a bad read, maybe whatever it is. But they start doing the things that I tell them to do, and they're progressing quickly. They move up to the top of my list. So that's where what you just said is important, where you said, we'll take the rest, right? Because I'll take those other 8, because these 2 that you're excited about at first, they might do the first part of it, and then they fall off. Now they go to the bottom of the list, and Joe Schmo over here, who you had ranked 6 out of those 10, goes to number 1. So it's definitely that's what I base it off of. Is, are they doing the things that we're telling them to do? Are they treating this like a job? Or are they treating it like something that's optional?
Yeah, and you mentioned something else really important too, is that the time is not equal. It's not like if you've got 100 hours in a week, it's not like you divide that up equally between your agents. Like, no, God, no. It's going to those places where the grass grows. You're watering where the grass grows, not just to who needs it.
It's a disservice. Like, you hear Andy Albright and you hear Mark Casetta talk about it all the time. What do they say? Work with the people who deserve your time, right? So if that becomes more of a delegation instead of spending my time with them. So maybe I'll have my staff follow up with them. Oh, they didn't show up to the training that I had planned. What happened? Oh, they got a good excuse. Okay, staff, you reach out to them, and I prep them on what to say to them to try to, encourage them not to waste my time again in the future. But that's where it becomes more of a delegation piece. Hey, you follow up with this person, see if you can get them going.
Yeah,
I got other things to do.
So obviously follow-ups you'll delegate. Are there other things that you delegate that free you up to stay in your money-making zone, which is recruiting with?
Yeah. Definitely, like, so from an assistant standpoint, handling any question that my agents have about commissions, contracting. Let's say they're trying to get through contract and they haven't gotten that. Just things that are tedious to me. Like, I don't really want to do them. I think you hire somebody to take those tasks off, because is it making me any money following up to see where they're at in contracting? No, it's not. I mean, could it lead to money? Yeah, 100%. If they get contracted, is following up on their commissions or having, helping them figure out little nuances that I can teach somebody to do. It frees up my time. And then even furthermore, once you start hiring a staff for recruiters, now, like, this is the beauty. When people ask me, if you ask me, like, why should I hire a recruiter, right? So imagine if I give you 100 people to talk to, all right? You're going to go through there. How many that you genuinely want to talk to again do you think you're going to find out of that 100?
I'm going to say 10.
Okay, that's what I would say. About 10% of people you actually want to have another conversation with. You get some crazy stuff in the middle. And you get people saying, sometimes I want to ask them, do you know this is an interview? Like, give them interview advice. But so if I've got those 10, so let's say that I've got a recruiter calling through those 100 and getting me in front of the 10 that I should be spending time with. So I what I've done well is I've taught my recruiters my process. I've taught them through coaching who's sharp to me, and they bring the 10 to me. So my goal for my recruiters, because when you got a team, you still got to put time towards the team that you currently have.
Yeah.
People getting started, training, like in-home and phone script training. Somebody, like, I've got to be there to do that, because that's going to make me money. So if I can have them take those 100 people off me and keep my schedule filled with those 10, then I can just keep pumping. And now I'm talking to the best of the best out of that 100 candidates.
I like it. I want to switch gears on you a little bit. So we've been talking a lot about how you structure your business, and obviously your full-time recruiting, putting in with managing your agents. When you're coaching somebody, let's say they're brand new, and you're coaching them on first how to print money, but also how to build a business. How do you coach them on that schedule of like, hey, here's how you do both at the same time?
Yep. And actually it's me and Vinny just had this conversation, right? Yeah. And I was trying to get across the point of this. You never stop building. I don't care who you find or what you do. Andy always says get one more, right? And so I think you could get comfortable in a place. And so me and Vinny sat down 2 Mondays ago, and we dissected his schedule. And a lot of what he was doing was he wasn't allowing any time for recruiting. Now here's the thing: it's like hiring somebody that has a full-time job, and they'll say, "I don't really know when I'm going to have time to do this." So you start dissecting their schedule, and what do you find? A bunch of open spots, little open spots. So it's the same thing with the recruiting. So when me and Vinny sat down, Vinny's to the point now, and I'll even explain it as if he weren't at this point. But let's say Vinny can book up a full day, 2 days of appointments in 3 or 4 hours.
Right.
And he's going to door knock, right? So like what I encourage Vinny to do is he's got to create a block on his schedule on his dial days to do recruiting. He's got to, right? So if he wants to build, he wants a big team. So what he's doing is from 8 to 11 he's dialing, right? From 12 to 5:30 he's recruiting, and from 5:30 to 8 if he needs to he's going to continue booking his appointments. Most time he doesn't. So what does he do? He just keeps on recruiting, and he's got ads set up through ZipRecruiter, which allows him to recruit. All right, so he goes and runs on Tuesday, Wednesday. But here's the thing: he could say, Brandon, I don't have time on Tuesday and Wednesday to recruit. Well, okay. Do you have? I would beg to differ, but let's just say this: do you have time to follow up the people that you talked to on Monday? Well, no, because I've got 10 appointments. Oh, great. Okay, so what are you doing in between those appointments when you're driving to the next house? Mm-hmm. Right? And it's a very simple conversation. Hey, Clay, we talked yesterday. I just wanted to follow up with you. Hey, I just want to give you a heads up. I'm on the way to an appointment. So I've only got about 15 minutes, but I just want to call you and check in. How you doing today? So you're setting that precedent of, hey, I don't have long.
Yeah.
But how many of those calls, let's say you got 10 appointments in a day. Your first appointment, that's one call. Right, on the way to that first appointment, on the way to the second appointment, that's another call. So you can fit in all the calls that the people that you need to follow up with. All right, so Wednesday rolls around, same thing, follow up. Where are they at? If you're BAM-FAMing them, you've got these already set up. Thursday, he's doing the same thing, and he's running on Fridays, and then Saturday, he's recruiting all day. Yeah. What I've challenged him to do is on Sunday, recruit. Mm-hmm. Because what are people thinking about when they're sitting there on a Sunday afternoon?
Not going into work Monday.
Yes, they're trying to think they want the flu all of a sudden, right? They just don't want to go in there dreading that, and it's a great day to actually recruit people because they're usually sitting around the house and they're thinking about how they don't want to go to work tomorrow. So It's a great time to call, even if you call from like 4 to 7. I'm just trying to, with people who are selling at a high level, it's always about how many calls can you sneak in. Right? So when you are running in the field and you're busy and you think you can't take calls, how many calls can you sneak in? How many times have you been sitting on the jet with Andy about to take off?
I was just going to say that.
He sneaks in another call.
One more. And when you think he's done, he'll get one more and he's like, all right, Bo, hey, we're taking off.
Yep.
And it'll be like he's going to tell them that it's going to cut off in the plane, but he's going to get that last
yep.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's what I think like Andy means by, one more. Some people might take that literally, like he's looking for one more person. No, he's just always like, Andy's been big in talking about inching forward, right? Mm-hmm. Inch. Get an inch, man. Get an inch, Bo. Get an inch, Bo, right? That's what he says like a lot now. And so, but that's what he means by one more because, it's like what Marcus said on the Wednesday call. How his dad told him, you're one connection away from changing your destiny.
Yeah.
It's just like that,
good.
Right? That's what I think Andy thinks about when he's talking about one more. He's just always looking for one more.
Yeah.
And that's what I want my agents to do is always be looking for one more. Always be rebuilding your business.
Well, it sounds like your coaching from that is it's like you're kind of looking for the chinks in the schedule, chinks in the armor.
Yeah.
You're finding that keyhole and you're going, hey, guy, right here, look at this. Can you make a call? And you set them up and give them a very just like actionable thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I hear that a lot of like, I'm full-time, I don't know when to recruit. Well, you just start by calling people.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. Beautiful, beautiful. Is there anything else system-wise I didn't ask you that you want to mention in terms of your with recruiting?
We kind of touched on it, but I'll just rehash it because I think it's important is follow-up is so important in this business. Mm-hmm. Like if you, let's say, for example, you called me or I called you. Let's just say I called you and I talked to you one time. Now you're sharp, right? I'm obviously going to be interested in having you in my organization. So, but it's if I don't follow up with you quickly, like I'm going to lose that flame in you that I created on that phone call. So I think where a lot of people miss the mark is that follow-up, right? So I don't know, systematically, like you've got to have people to talk to. You've got your warm market. You got depth. You got people that you're bringing on, depth out of them. But you've got to have people to talk to as well, right? And how many people, if you're sitting here and you're thinking, well, Brandon, I'm not in a position to where I can afford an ad on ZipRecruiter. Okay, well, $75 for an ad. So go make a couple sales, and let's figure that out. But even if you're just getting started with us, how many people do you walk by a day?
Right.
How many people, like, it is almost a challenge, especially like some of my agents now. Like if I go somewhere with Sean Boone, or Andy is even worse. If I go somewhere with Sean Boone, it's a fight to see. Like we'll sneak around when they're grabbing our check to ask them, hey, what are you doing outside of, you interested in any other streams of income, type stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it's just, you got people all around you, and you just don't think they're in a place in life where they might not be open. Don't go into it with that mindset. I've had people making, my brother-in-law just left his job.
Yeah.
He's making $300,000 a year, right? Like, but most people wouldn't even say anything to him.
Yeah.
Because they were like, dude, he's making $300,000. He's good. Right. But it's just not the case. He was traveling a lot, and it's just, he didn't mind the travel part because I told him he's gonna have to do that here, right? But it was just kind of one of those things where I guess I said it to him enough. You're building someone else's business, and he got tired of hearing that. And him and my sister are now building a business. So
it's beautiful.
Yeah,
it's beautiful. So you kind of talked about having those conversations, and I want to role play it so that way everybody listening can kind of hear maybe an abbreviated version, because obviously a recruiting conversation for you is going to go 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes if you like them. But let's role play an abbreviated version. You can make up you obviously know me well enough. You're not going to make anything up about me, but let's have an abbreviated role play of like how that conversation goes, how you get into that flow, and then maybe how you build it out.
Sure.
So that way you can get them.
Sure. And what's so I do this a lot. What is the area code in Colorado?
720.
720.
Or
okay.
303.
And is your phone number still 720?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So ring.
Hello.
Clay, what's going on, man? It's Brandon Manley.
Hey, Brandon.
How you doing today?
I'm living the dream, brother.
Good, man. Hey, look, we had a call set up at this time. Just want to see if now is still okay time.
Yeah, man.
All right, perfect. Well, hey, man, I noticed 720. You out there in Colorado?
No, man. That's actually where I'm originally from, but I live in Carolina now.
No way. What part of Carolina?
I'm in Durham, the Dirty D. You heard of it?
Oh, yeah, Durham. You're not too far from me, man. I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina. What, you chasing a girl or something?
How did you know? It's either a girl or money, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So you still with that girl?
Yeah, usually that doesn't work out too good.
Yeah, I've heard that in the past. Yeah. So is all your family moved to Carolina or just you?
Just me, man. I
Cool.
got a new girl, though, so don't worry.
You go back a lot?
Yeah, every now and then. I would say twice a year on a good year, at least once.
Some good skiing out there.
Yeah, I'm actually a boarder.
Oh, snowboarder.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Did you grow up doing that, I'm assuming?
I did. Grew up skiing, and then once I hit 5th grade and got cool, then I became a snowboarder. But I think now that I'm old, I'll have to switch back to skiing to save my knees.
Yeah, there you go.
Sitting on your ass a lot snowboarding.
Yeah, I've skied a couple times, and it doesn't usually go well for me. So I hear you. Well, I heard you said Durham. You got a new girl. How long you been with the new girl?
6 years. Actually got engaged a couple weeks ago.
Congratulations, man. Do y'all have kids?
No.
No kids. Okay. What's she do for work?
She's a PA, physician assistant, over at
Oh, wow.
Duke Urgent Care.
Okay.
So if you bash your head or you get the flu or you cut off a finger, you go to the urgent care, and then she'll tell you to go to the emergency room.
Got it. Okay. All right. Well, she's smart. She's smart. It sounds like
Smarter than me.
she's got it going on. So cool, man. Well, hey, look. I was looking over your resume and I was intrigued, so I wanted to give you a call and chat with you a little bit. I see your work experience here, but I just want to hear a little bit from you. What are you currently doing for work?
Yeah, I work at this corporate office for a textile company, and I work just a 40-hour job there. I'm just looking for more money, more opportunity. So I'll put my resume on ZipRecruiter, and it sounds like that's how you found me.
Yeah, that's exactly how I found you, man. Now, tell me, so just a little bit more about that job. Tell me, kind of walk me through what you like about that job, what you don't like about that job.
Yeah, I like the people I work with. They're cool. Get along with most everybody. It's my first job out of college, so that's been cool. What I don't like is, you got to show up and punch the clock, and you got to ask for permission to, take a vacation or to do stuff like that. And you got to ask for more money all the time, right? If I want to make more money, I got to, get it approved. And if it's not in the budget, then, you don't get it.
Heard that, man. So, well, let me ask you, I mean, you kind of given me some ideas here, but what ideally are you looking to move into? I mean, do you have specific jobs you're going after, or what type of position?
I don't really have a good idea on that right now. I'm looking for something where I can earn more money, and I've got ideally more freedom.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. Cool. Yeah, man. So just kind of last questions here, and then I'll jump into a little bit about what we're doing. But I'm always curious. I just like to hear people's life stories. I want to hear, about your success. What has been your most, whether it's job related, whether it's life related, sports related, where have you had a series in your life of success?
Yeah, man. I would say for me it starts with sports. I was always a team captain playing football. I consider myself a leader. I'm also an Eagle Scout, so I got my Eagle Scout when I was 18. That was more my dad dragging me to the finish line, but I did it, and I checked that box, and I'm extremely grateful that he kind of pushed me through that. I graduated college, so I got a biology degree as well. I'm pretty proud of that. And throughout my life, I've been some sort of coach, whether it's a football coach or Big Brothers Big Sisters, just kind of trying to help and give back, because those are the type of people that really affected me, were coaches throughout my life. So I want to be that person for somebody else.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, look, I mean, that's awesome to hear. I wasn't a big football player. I played mostly baseball. I just didn't like just running into people, So I guess me and you are different in that capacity. But I did love sports. I love watching football. I just didn't like participating.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. I appreciate you sharing that with me. Now, just given what you've said, I want to tell you a little bit about what we do. And I think some of the things that you've said are going to really intrigue you about this opportunity. So I'm going to go kind of high level here, and any questions you got, I'm going to ask you if you got any questions, okay? So I work with a company out of Burlington, North Carolina called The Alliance. And now we're nationwide. We've got people all throughout all 50 states. And what we do is we are a marketing organization, marketing and sales. So let me ask you something. Have you heard of companies such as Mutual of Omaha or Nationwide?
Yeah.
On your side?
I've seen those commercials.
Yeah. So we partner up with these big insurance companies. And what we do is we are marketing their products to people that are looking for them. So we've done a lot of market analysis, and we found out that there's people looking for their products. And so we market to them. They respond to us. and we figure out what they're looking for. We go and meet with them, and then we just kind of pair them up. So we're kind of like the middleman.
Yeah.
We're like the matchmaker, if you will.
Makes sense.
So people who are looking for the products and the people that have the products. Does that make sense so far?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we've got people that are looking for it. We call them leads. We've got leads that we use, and we call these people who have expressed interest. And our job simply just to be a matchmaker. Okay. So typically, we are working directly with the consumer. So we're typically looking at about $500 to $1,000 every time you sit down with a family and help a person out. Okay. So there's unlimited opportunity when it comes to that. Now, I know you said something about wanting kind of more in your pocket and some more freedom with your time. Yeah. So the cool thing about us is you actually get to pick your schedule. Right now, this can be a blessing and a curse, but what I will tell you, Clay, is you set your own schedule. Now, I'm here to guide you. I can help you out. I can tell you what successful people are doing. I can tell you what worked for me. But at the end of the day, it's kind of up to you. And I really liked that, because what it showed me was the amount of effort I put into it, I can make out of it, right? Because we're not capped when it comes to the amount of money we can make, right? So you're going to have that freedom. You're not going to have to ask when you can have off. You've got that freedom. So another thing you said, and I want to bring up to you, and we can talk about it in more length if this is something you might be interested in. But one of the things that we do is we from day one have the opportunity to build out our own organization, build out our own team. And you said you really like coaching.
Yeah.
And really that's what the team is about, right? So we provide a lot of coaching, but you can start building on an organization where you have support and where you can coach other people to do what you're doing.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does.
So, and you also make money that way too. So we make money from helping families out, and we make money from helping other people out on selling these products.
Gotcha.
So let me ask you, Clay. That's kind of a quick overview of it, abbreviated version, right? So let me ask you, kind of based on what I'm saying, what questions do you have for me?
Well, I mean, it sounds awesome. Like, what do I have to do to get started?
Great question. Yeah. So the first thing that you have to do is you have to get a license to do this. So it is a very I don't try to hide the fact it's boring, but it's easy. All right. So here's what we do is we can get you signed up for a class. It's a $200 course. The Alliance covers 75% of that, so it's $50 for you. Mm-hmm. Okay. So we get you into class. That's $50. You finish that up, and then you go take a state exam. Once you pass that state exam, you're licensed. You can start marketing their products.
Cool.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, what are the questions you got?
Can I do it like while I keep my job, or do I have to quit my job in order to do this?
No, man. Actually, a lot of our people start part-time, believe it or not. I started part-time. And that's the beauty of it is you can keep working your job, and we're going to train you on how to do this. And the goal is to overtake your income with the job, mm-hmm. and you come on full-time here. But it's at your discretion when you make that move.
Gotcha. Cool, man. Well, I'm in.
Okay. So just give me an idea here, because I like to ask this question, and I'll explain why in a second. But, kind of if you were ranking this on like a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being you're least interested in, 10 being I'm all in, let's go. Where would you say you fall on that scale?
Dude, put me at an 8 or a 9. I'm ready to get out of my job.
Okay. All right, man. Well, look, here's kind of next steps. So we need to get you into class, all right? What I'm going to do is as soon as we get off the phone here, I'm going to send you over an email. And it's 6 o'clock here tonight. So are you off of work right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, man, look, I'm going to send this over to you now. And while I got you on the phone, do you have a computer in front of you?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. I'll just quickly walk you through on how to get what we call fast-tracked and get you to sign the agent agreement, as well as get you into class, okay?
Cool.
All right. Let me know when you got your computer up. I just sent that email.
Beautiful. So I want to break that down with you, because you hit some big-time stuff. And in my head, and correct me if I'm wrong, it was kind of rapport, but it was like targeted rapport.
Yeah.
And so you're asking like very specific questions to understand Clay, and then it was kind of like business overview, and then close. Mm-hmm. So break down each one of those sections.
Yeah.
When you're going into rapport, why are you asking some of those questions?
Yeah. So when I'm building rapport with you, I'm I am trying to find out who Clay is, right? I'm trying to find out, like, you remember how I was talking earlier about what's holding him back? What could hold him back, right?
Yeah.
So, like, in that, I uncovered that you're engaged, you don't have any kids. I didn't ask about pets, but I probably would ask about pets. You got any? You ain't got no pet. You ain't got no kids. You got pets. Sometimes I get more into it, right? So I'm trying to figure out who you are, like where you're from. Is your family local? Is your dad going to tell you this is a bad idea, right? Like, I'm trying to find out, like, what is it that could hold you back, but also who are you and what do you have going on in your life right now?
Yeah.
So I've got a pretty good gauge. Like if I would have gone further with that, my questions would have been like, oh, no way, where'd you graduate from?
Mm-hmm.
You said, is it Colorado University?
Yep.
Colorado University. Oh, when did you graduate?
2014.
2014. Huh, what am I doing? I'm starting to calculate how old you are.
Yeah.
Because you graduated when you were 22, and that was almost 10 years ago. So you're probably 31.
God almighty, what a quick.
Right? So I'm starting to picture in my mind, all right, he's 31. He's obviously a good salesman. He's got a really smart girl that he's just got engaged to say
true.
yes to, you know?
Right.
Yeah. And then I know there's not much holding you back, right? So I'm just, and I always try to say things as cheesy as it is. Like I try to figure out where, like I know a lot of zip codes by now, but I'll look up area codes to see where they're from. Because I want some, if they're in Florida, I lived down there for 2 years. I just moved back. No way. What part of Florida?
So that's kind of that's your entry question.
Mm-hmm.
Is like you're looking up the area code and saying, hey, are you here?
Yeah.
And if they're not, then you're getting a story out of it. If they are, you're getting a story out of it.
Yeah. Or if they got, you could pick anything. If they got a cool name. I talked to a guy the other day. His last name was Dangerville.
No way.
I was like, cool. That's going to be my talking point, right? So, and then, progressing into talking about the opportunity, here's what I've learned. Less is way more in this business when you're talking about the opportunity. Mm-hmm. The more information, the more I try to be detailed on what I'm telling them. I want to give them an overview, right? I don't want to tell them, here's how you get paid. And this is what I used to do, believe it or not, when I first got started, is I would call people and I would be like, all right, so here's how the commission structure works. Here's how you get paid. So do out this math. 100 times 12, that equals 1,200 AP. And I'd have them break it down. And so, but what I realized that I was doing is I'm just creating way more questions for them. I'm confusing them.
Right. And confuse people,
do nothing, right? So I want to give them kind of a high level, right? I do want to talk a little bit about how we get paid, and I go based. Remember, the other things that I'm doing when I'm building rapport with you, like those questions that I'm asking you, I'm getting my ammo for what you want to align my job with that.
Yeah.
Right. So if you told me, yeah, I'm looking for an admin job, I'm doing an admin job right now, and I want to do basically the same thing, just make more money. Okay. My conversation is a lot different, but you told me that you want time freedom and you want more money. Mm-hmm. You like coaching, right? Your success was your coaching. Mm-hmm. Success will tell you a lot about a person.
Yeah.
And you can go even deeper with those success questions. I could ask you, all right, well, tell me about, like, through that success, did you ever have any dips? Did you ever have any failures?
Yeah. Is that a red flag if they don't have any success? Like, I can't think of anything.
I mean, I don't know. It depends on how young they are, right?
Yeah.
So it definitely tells me that they're probably not a risk taker.
Yeah.
So because anything that you're going to be successful at, you're going to have some dips, and somebody's typically got something, right? Your second one was graduating college, right? That's weaker to me than the coaching one, in my opinion, because graduating college, a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
The coaching part, that caught my attention because it related to what we do. Now, don't get me wrong, 4-year degree, it's tough trying to balance a social life and an academia life, but it's doable, right? So, but I'm still impressed that you stuck with it.
Yeah.
And then my close, and here's the thing, like if I'm catching somebody at work, I may send them an email and not do that over the phone with them. Mm-hmm. But the more I can get done right then and there, I'm going to do. So I'm going in for the close. Like, what are you going to do? Go to a house and sit down with them and say, hey, here's the numbers. What looks good? Okay, well, think about it. I'm going to come back tomorrow. No, like, get them while they're hot. Yeah. And then the second step to that, which I didn't get to, but it's telling them how to get through the class quickly.
Yeah.
Right? So I want them taking notes.
Right.
Yeah, et cetera. So
don't do that.
No.
That's good. So I like what you did, because you teed me up and you presented it in a way that I could hear it, as opposed to here's the cookie cutter response, or like here's the cookie cutter pitch that you give to everybody, your conversion ratio is going to be way lower if you're doing that. But if you're catering what I want to hear, like tell me about freedom and coaching people and making more money, don't tell me about whatever else.
Yeah, and it's so important that when you're interviewing somebody, you do get the things that they're looking for. Don't just go into it and say, what are you doing now? Okay, cool, here's what we do.
Yeah, do you want to do it?
Right? Do you want to do it? And then they say, you get so excited about the guy that says yes. Like, you don't know anything about him. Like, what do you like about your job, Clay? What don't you like about your job?
That's like in the home, not building any why.
Right.
And they buy, and then it charges back. Why did it charge back? Like, there was no pain.
Can't believe this.
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Well, that was good. That was really helpful, and I think I got a lot out of that in terms of your strategy. I want to switch gears on you. We've talked about your schedule and your system. We've talked about your script. I want to talk kind of like get into the weeds of your like investment strategy, what you invest in to keep yourself fed and to keep your guys fed, and kind of like your general business strategy. So give me like a high level of like, we put money into this, this, and this from a straight up recruiting standpoint, getting names.
Yep. Okay, so we do ZipRecruiter, right? We got a ZipRecruiter maxed out.
How many ads you got?
30 ads maxed out.
$2,000 a month ish, $19.50.
Yeah, 19 something. Yeah, and then we do about W12. So we probably do about 36 PC interviews
a week.
Okay. All right, and
$15 a pop.
$15 a pop, and then we do. Outside of that, I mean, staff. You got the staff perspective, so you pay for that to kind of delegate and weed out. And then other things would be travel, right? Because I'm traveling to see a lot of these people and trying to get more people there. And events is a big thing, right? So, yeah, I'd say that's pretty much the main things. Depth doesn't cost me any money, you know?
True.
I just got to sell them on building a business.
Yeah.
I love how Terry Edwards puts it, man. He taught me this. And I think this is the third time. So according to Marcus, this is mine now. He says, hey, Clay, how much you need to make a month to make this work?
$5,000.
$5,000. Okay. So if I could show you a way to make $5,000 residual, would you be opposed?
No.
Okay. So that's where I'm going to be your biggest asset. All right. So I'm going to help you actually grow your residual income. Now, who do you know that might be interested in an opportunity? Who do you know? Let's start taking down some names. And you see, Terry's got he is good at depth.
Yeah.
Everyone on his team starts building,
yeah.
And he sells them on that idea of residual income. That's what it is.
His business shows it.
Yeah, his business shows it. I mean, it's no joke.
Okay.
So that's the main cost to my recruiting.
Yeah.
And events is a big thing. We should hit on that.
Yeah. Well, since we're talking about it. How soon are you having that conversation about the next event? Like, when does that occur in the lifespan with the agent?
So the hot spots and the boot camps right away, right? I'm trying to get. So let's say I go back on that recruiting call, and you're in Durham, right? So actually, let's say we have a meeting coming up next Friday in Raleigh. Okay, so if we have a meeting in Raleigh next Friday, I'm going to invite you to that. Okay, let's say it's like a social, and Andy's going to be there. I want Andy to be there, right? I don't care, Andy. I mean, I want Andy to be there, but if he's not, I'm still going to bring him. What I'll do is I'll get them to that event because I want them to meet other people. Because let's say you didn't relate as well to me as you relate to the other guy from Denver in that meeting, or the other guy that has a PA, or the PA that's in there. You bring your girl. Yeah. It's an easy way to work depth too. Hey, Clay. Hey, who do you know that you could bring with you?
Right.
Check it out for you. See if it's something you should do.
Right.
You can say anything. You can get them to bring. I'll tell you this: is we have in my office we have a whiteboard, and we have on that whiteboard I always update it every 2 weeks. Now you don't have to do this, but every 2 weeks I have 2 weeks worth of the meetings going on in the alliance, and it's usually a full board because we have so many meetings.
Right.
So for me and my recruiters, it's fresh on our mind. We see it all the time. It's like gets ingrained in your brain. And so, I encourage my people, look at the allianceevents.com every day because they're constantly updating with new events. And the quickest way that I found to get somebody really excited about this is get them around other people making money in the business and let them work for you, right? Let them work for you. So get them to it. Like, we are fanatics about getting them to an event. Second part of that is getting them to bring somebody with them to the event. But I'll tell you, it's the amount of times, and the amount of times that you'll get somebody to actually bring somebody else is way higher than you actually think. You know, if you were like, Brandon, I'm not getting anybody to bring anybody to the events, I'm going to tell you it's because you're probably not asking them if they know anyone.
Yeah.
Right? It's a very simple question. Like, hey, who can you bring with you? Let's start building your team. Or, hey.
That's a pro tip right there. That's good. Yeah. I've noticed, too, that, like, it's one thing to send people to the events. You should go to the events, too, right? Like, if you're sending people to hotspots and you're never hosting or going to a hosted hotspot in your city, like, bro, we need you. Like, get your ass there, too. That's a pet peeve. I just had to bring that up.
You're spot on. I mean, I don't have one right in front of me, but, you know, I think some people, they don't realize how detrimental that can be to recruiting.
Yeah.
Like, if I send someone to a meeting and there's 8 new people there and 3 existing people, but there's 40 people in the alliance that aren't attending that event because they won't get something out of it or whatever the reason may be, it's hurting us with recruiting.
Yeah.
Because they don't get to experience seeing other people. I kind of was joking the other day when I was doing a meeting in Orlando, and I said, I pulled up the 8 Steps book, and I pulled up the $10 meetings, and I said, some people think that there's this invisible parentheses that says when Andy Albright is here, and there isn't that. But like, you should attend an event no matter what. Andy's utilizing millionaires to go to these events, and people who are making bukus of money are putting on these events. You can learn something from them. Don't only, like, of course, if Andy's there, go, but don't only go if Andy's there.
Yeah.
You know, it's just. It is what it is.
So what I heard was you promote events immediately.
I do.
It's just like it's probably one of the first things you talk about.
And I'm quick to get them to the big events, right? I know now we got events coming up 4 times a year, so every quarter, I buy extra tickets. Why? Because I know I'm going to have some more width that's going to need a ticket, and that price is going to go up, or it's going to be unavailable. And so I get additional tickets, and we start talking to them about that pretty quickly too. But my goal is to get them that next meeting.
Yeah. You talked a little bit about traveling earlier and events and that sort of thing. How do you, let's say you hire a sharp guy in Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
How soon are you getting there? Or maybe what I'm trying to ask is, like, what determines you should go to Tampa? Why?
Yeah.
What circumstances, I guess?
Multiple legs is what I'm going for.
Yeah.
So yeah, of course, if I get somebody sharp in Tampa, or let's just say anywhere in Florida, really, if I get somebody down there, like, I'm gonna try to recruit more people to go down there and see, and I'll likely have somebody that's already on the team. So like, when I'm trying to pick sometimes where I'm running the ads, or sometimes when I'm trying to pick where I'm gonna go next, it's like, all right, so let's say I don't think they can see this, but let's say I have these legs. So, right, and I'm trying to get them to bring depth, right? So let's say this is Orlando. This is Sue Love. This is Brittany and Daniel Ladd. And this is Aiden, new guy, all right? So I'm trying to get Sue to bring some depth with her. But I'm also, while I'm there, trying to get 4 new legs there to come check it out. Because I'm going to point to Sue and show how much, tell her to talk, right? Because she's great at talking. And she can show them what she's doing, how she's doing it. She's number 2 or 3 producer in the country. She can talk to them. So she's helping me sell that person. Now I'm going out there to see people that I'm already helped them build and keep growing. So this is something Andy, drilled into me. He's like, when you go somewhere, have multiple legs there. And if you don't have multiple legs there, get a ZipRecruiter ad and find one, right? I mean, it's easy. Start going on Facebook. Go to a realtor group. Start finding somebody in Tampa.
And even from an investment standpoint, right? Because if you're investing in leads for Aiden right here, and Aiden gets hit by a truck, you can then move those leads right here.
Yeah.
But if Aiden is your only guy in Tampa, and Aiden gets hit by a truck or abducted by aliens, what are you going to do with those leads?
Yeah.
You going to drive down to Tampa and sell them? Like,
yeah, I might have to. I don't know.
Yeah, I have to. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just my thought process is what can I accomplish in the time that I'm there, How much can I accomplish? Like if I just went and saw Sue, or Brittany and Daniel, let's say I showed up and saw Brittany and Daniel, but I didn't see Sue. I didn't use a good use of my time.
Right.
But also I can accomplish so much more here because I have them talking to people on my team already doing it. Or let's say this is Orlando again. Let's say Jared and Rachel Doucette are there.
Yeah.
They're not even in my organization, but they're helping out.
Yeah.
Because they're getting up there talking about how much, how great it is. They're doing the sales for me. I just got these 3 people there.
Yeah.
So.
Makes sense. We touched on it a little bit, and this kind of ties into that traveling as well. And I want to know from an investment standpoint, how do you choose to invest in leads in people? Like, how does that process go in your organization?
Like you're saying giving them leads?
Yeah, you investing, you
okay.
buying them.
Yeah, so a couple things play into that. I'm really not a big fan of buying people leads because they treat it like, and here's what you hear, I'll say this to people, hey, the problem is if I invest in leads for you, you have no skin in the game. Right. You'll treat these leads like I bought them for you. No, that's not me. That's not me. And then
I'm gonna work them to the bone.
And I still don't know if I've had a success story where I've given them leads and they just took them and worked them as if it were their last $300 in the bank. But I will do it. I'm not gonna sit here and say I've never done it. But I'm a big guy on matching.
Okay.
Matching their leads. So let's say that you're like, hey man, I got $100 to put in. I'm like, okay, all right. Well, I'm gonna try to figure some things out. But let's say we've already done this, and I can go back to that in a second. We've already done this. Well, I'm gonna say, okay, man. Well, look, here's what I'll do. I'm gonna do you a solid. I'm gonna match your lead investment. Matter of fact, I'm gonna put in $150, so we can get you $250 worth of leads. I know LPT internet leads. I can get them about 25 leads for that.
Right.
See if they work them. I'm $150 in. If they prove to not work them, that's on them. I know kind of where they fall in the priority system. But if they do, they go out and make $2,000. Now they've got a fund that they can put that money back towards leads, which is a whole nother conversation that you need to have with them. But a lot of times what I'm trying to do when I get someone started is this. There's several different ways you can do this, actually. But, hey, have you worked your warm market? Who have you reached out to? Yeah. Here's what we need to do. Sean Boone's been killing this. All right, so who do you know that you can reach out to? Here's my challenge for you. It's whatever day it is, right? Let's say 2 days from now. Can you reach out and get 10 appointments set up with your warm market? You can do your parents, your aunt, your grandma, your friends, whoever it is. 10 appointments, right? I mean, if they do 7, cool. They got 7 appointments. They're gonna sell something, right? In most every case.
Mom better buy something.
Mom, I mean, you come across crap policies, right? True. So you sit down with somebody and like this guy under Sean Boone sat down with his grandma, found out she was paying like $40 a month for like $1,000 death benefit. Damn. It was just ridiculous. I don't know. I don't remember exactly how it all laid out. It was more accidental than anything. Yeah. And so we got our new policy, and I think he made like $1,000 off that. What? And that's where you coach them to not take that $1,000 and blow it. That's your seed money. Use it. This is now house money. Use that money to invest in leads and go turn that $500 into $3,000.
Yeah.
Now you've got seed money for days. Yeah.
And to multiply it too. You're not taking 100 of that 1,000.
Right.
You're taking a bigger chunk of that and trying to spin the wheel
exactly.
faster.
Yeah. And so that's another way we do it. The only other way that I've heard that I actually don't mind, I kind of like this is. Yeah. Let's say I'm getting you started. Hey, what's the first step of the 8 steps?
Personal use.
Personal use. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a policy on you. Okay. How much can you stash away a month for your life insurance policy?
$100 a month.
$100. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the math based on what you would make off commissions, and I'm going to give that money towards the leads.
So you're going to sell it.
I'm going to sell it to you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get paid on it.
Yep.
All right. So I'm going to give you the commissions that you would have gotten from your own sale. And then I'm going to take that money and I'm going to give it to the lead department and let them fund you with leads.
And $100 a month at your contract, that's a lot of lead money, bro.
Yeah. I mean, even let's say bottom contract, that's $500.
Yeah.
$500 to put towards leads now.
100%.
Hey, and guess what? If you decide down the road that this wasn't for you, well, guess what? You got a life insurance policy and you needed it. It's
and
like,
I'm your agent now.
Yeah. But I'm not trying to take that money from, I'm not trying to sell, I'm not trying to use that method of, some people out there where I sell my
Yeah, don't do
agents.
that to a Prime of America person. That'll mess them
yeah,
up. That'll
yeah,
give them PTSD.
Yeah. But, the reality is that you do need it, and it's $100, and I'll give you the commissions of what you would have made off this, because you're going to get paid as earned.
Yeah.
And then I'll apply that towards leads where you can take that $500 investment, turn it into $3,000.
I like that. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's an idea.
Yeah.
Try it.
Yeah. All right. Are there other areas, I guess maybe what are some of your highest ROI areas that you invest in?
Highest ROI.
Yeah, whether it's recruiting like ZipRecruiters or leads, or like where do you feel like you get the most return on your investment?
I would say probably in the immediate, a lead investment.
Okay.
I can get people. I can get someone to go out there and start writing policies. I can show them how to make money, and so I'm not concerned about that. I like, let's say I matched you and I gave you $150 worth of leads. I'm probably going to make that back pretty quickly in overrides. But in all fairness, over if you want to talk about over the years, the whole 4 years I've been here, it's I talk like I've been here for a while. But the reality is like long term is the recruiting side. So my ROI, I don't even know where to start with how to do this, but would be from the ad placements.
Yeah.
So ad placements, because if you think about the folks that you're getting started, see, it's easy to get discouraged with recruiting because it's delayed gratification, right? You're not seeing that, like you don't hire somebody today and make $1,000 off of them tomorrow. Right. So, but the long term is maybe you start making $10,000 a month off that organization. That's way more than I can make in an override off of one person.
Yeah.
Right. So I'd say long term ROI. I'd say ZipRecruiter's been good to us. It's been very good to us, and honestly, PC's been good to us.
Dude, sell them on PC. Tell them.
I utilize the President's Club recruiting leads, and what they do is they'll set you up every 20 minutes and they will fill them up.
They will.
Like they will fill them up quick, and you're talking to people who are a lot of the times licensed, and so then you come into that a lot, like what I found about the people who are licensed is you find some of those that I was talking about earlier. I've been with this company, this company, this company, and this company. Didn't work.
Yeah.
You might work. Bring me on. And then I talk to other people who got a license but never did anything with it. Right. Or they're in a situation where they don't even know about our world. Like they're with a company like the one you mentioned earlier, where they're at a very low commission, like way lower, like less than half of what our bottom commission is. And they don't have leads, they don't have any success strategy over there, and they just don't know about us, or they're captive and they sell for one company, and they come across a lot of people they can't write, and they're looking for, and they can't build a team. They're looking for something like this. So I really enjoy those. I mean, you will get those people that have bounced around and it's just never worked out here, but for the most part, we talk to some very solid people on those PC leads.
Yeah, and I think you touched on something that I personally deal with running President's Club, where it's our recruiting numbers are through the roof and people are investing in ZipRecruiter, and then it's like they get weary and well-doing, and they're like, well, I don't need ZipRecruiter anymore. I'm like, bro, have you seen your own numbers? Like your own numbers are through the roof. The company numbers are through the roof. Why would you stop doing a good thing? And I think it's because, like you mentioned, we get weary and well-doing. We forget that it's a long-term investment.
It is.
It's gonna the money's gonna come in the future.
It is. Yeah, it's just that it's not immediate. So people are like, hey, I'm spending all this money, but I'm not going to return. Okay, well, what if you kept spending that next week, you find somebody who's let's say they're in the insurance world and they got 20 people underneath them, and they come over to you, and now they're your next $50,000, $100,000, $250,000 leg. You're going to wish you had kept that.
Yeah.
And that's where you just got to stay in that mindset. Is Andy doesn't care how much he's spending in ads. He doesn't care. He's constantly rebuilding his organization. Like, yeah, he's successful. He's got a great organization. He's got a lot of people making a lot of money, and he's making a lot of money. But he's continuously rebuilding. So if the other side of that is you find 5 good people and you just stop recruiting.
Right.
Why would you do that? It's like stabbing yourself in the hand.
Yeah.
You know?
It's crazy, man. It is crazy. And you're right. Andy has never been scared of investing.
No.
Ever.
No. What's he say? Scare money don't make money.
Scare money don't make money, baby.
So,
Yeah.
he's got those posters.
Dude, the premium on ZipRecruiter's been popping off. I don't know if you've noticed a change or looked at it. We've had it for a couple weeks. Literally, people's ads have been doubling.
Yeah.
As we're on top.
We have seen, when we started out with ZipRecruiter, we came up with and we had to figure out the kinks with ZipRecruiter from our side.
Yeah.
Like some like job titles were a little bit like, misleading, like remote work, and I'm not exactly looking for remote people. And we had just a weird job description. I've changed it up a lot, and at first, before that premium hit, they were hitting a lot slower, and I was like, man, well, I guess I'd rather have quality over quantity. And then you sent out an email on the premiere, and then all of a sudden it went from like 12 to 72. And I was like, let's go.
Let's go, dude. Well, I think it's going to have a massive impact. Before we wrap up, is there anything else we didn't touch on investment-wise or like general recruiting strategy-wise that you want to leave them off with?
Yeah. I'll just kind of recap on some things. Is just, one is have a conversational interview with people, right? Like get to know them a little bit, just enough, because it's all your ammo that you're going to need. The quicker you can invest in staff, the better off you're going to be. Like your ROI on staff is great. Yeah. If you find good staff, and it may not be the first 2-3 people you hire, but when you find good staff, your ROI on that's going to be great. Second thing is like getting them to events and traveling is just it's the way to build. It is. And lastly, I'm going to go back to it is follow up. Like the follow up piece is very important, because if you stop reaching out, like if you talk to somebody last week, like let's say I talked to somebody last Wednesday, and then I don't talk to them again until the next Wednesday, there's 7 days went by. A lot of that fire's gone. So I think a lot of people miss that, and don't get too excited about people right away. Yeah. Like, yeah, you can be happy. Like, I think I found a good one. Great. But see if they actually follow you, right? Are they going to do these steps? And if not, shouldn't be that excited.
I do know.
The reality of it.
Well, dude, it's been, when you said 4 years, I was like, it's only been 4 years. Yeah. And then you also said 4 years, and I was like, it's been 4 years.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm proud of you, man. You've done some big things in a short period of time, and I know there's more to come.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We're charging.
I know it.
Thanks for all you and PC do.
Hell yeah, man. Keep selling it. Sell what we do in President's Club, because it's making a difference.
Yep.
And, I'm running everything in the sales world now, too. So director of sales. And we're just excited. We got a whole bunch of new staff people. We're revamping the lead team. We got some new sharp people in there, and we got momentum too, dude.
Yeah,
we got a ton of momentum.
Let's go to the top.
Let's go to the top. My name's Clay Mertes. Thank y'all for jumping in and listening to this interview with Brandon Manley today, senior board member. My name is Clay, director of sales here at the Alliance Corporate Office. If either one of us can ever do anything for you, we got your back. Thanks for being on today.